Hi, everybody. My name's Norm Mathers with Enigma Media. Today I'm joined by melodic death metal crew out of Kitchener, Ontario, Northshroud. How are you guys doing today?
Good,
Good.
man.
How you doing?
How are you?
Good, good. I'm doing very well. As I told you guys, I had a little bit of excitement this morning. I locked myself out of my studio space, office space, and I had to get my son to go through the window and unlock me. So, yeah, it's all good. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about how the band got started?
All right. My name is Emily. I do vocals, lead vocals.
I'm Wickens. I do guitar, lead, and rhythm,
And backing vocals.
and backing vocals.
Oh,
They
yes.
make me do that.
I'm Brian. I do bass guitar and backing vocals as well.
Sweet. And how'd the band get started?
The original way it started, the other guitar player, James, who couldn't be here today, we're missing our drummer and our guitar player just because one lives out of town and has a kid, and the other one drank a lot last night. But
He's got the blue flu today.
yeah. It originally started with James and I. We've known each other since high school, and he asked me to do a band like years and years ago. So we just started dicking around, and it eventually fell apart. And then one day, since I obviously known him for a while, he's like, "Hey man, you want to start another band?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. What do you think?" He's like, "Well, I just got a new 7-string." I'm like, "Well, I guess I have to go buy a 7-string, huh?" So I ended up just going out and buying a 7-string a couple weeks later, and then we just started looking for band members and met Brian through a mutual acquaintance of ours from the job I was working, Derek. What's up, Derek? And I think we found Johnny on Craigslist, like you find most drummers. Craigslist or Kijiji, one of the two. It was one of those. But yeah, it was just kind of knowing James for a long time, and we decided to start a band. That didn't happen, and we decided, well, we'll try learning how to play a 7-string now and start a whole new band.
Fucking
That was pretty. Then she came in when we lost our old singer, but that was an easy transition for us for her a couple of years ago too, I think. So
Okay.
Yeah. I was briefly bandless, and then they asked me, hey, so we're having problems with our singer. You want to fill in for a few shows? And I'm like, yes. I didn't even have to think about it.
She already knew all the lyrics anyway. She'd been to every gig we'd ever
That's
done.
right.
So
Oh,
That's right.
Sweet.
Yeah, I was a fan first.
Yeah, fan become family member. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I listened to the EP that you guys have out now. I didn't realize at first that it wasn't M singing or screaming there. How did that go? How did you guys end up finding Emily and stuff like that? I guess she was just coming to your shows, and then
we've been a couple for about 10 years. So like we're going on 11 years now, and it was just one of those things. Yeah, like at first we're like, is it gonna work? And then we've lived together. Like we moved in after 3 months of being together in the first place, so it wasn't like a big shock to do something like that for us, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just worked out great because like she knew what was going on with the old singer and what we were doing as a band, and it was kind of just like, we got a show come up in like 2-3 weeks. Can you do this for us? Because we have to get this taken care of and move on from that. And she's like, yeah, don't worry about it. We got it.
3 practices in, I think we did pretty well,
Yeah,
honestly, for the debut.
It was a good show. But yeah, that's how that came about. It's just few people say it's nepotism, but it's just convenience factor more than anything. Nobody likes using the internet to find people.
Hey, babe, you want to come sing in my band? Yeah, that sounds all right.
I guess.
Sweet. So how long has the current lineup been established?
Are we including COVID? Do we count
Yeah.
that for band time anymore?
I don't know.
probably 3-4 years.
Yeah, it's 3-4 years.
Okay.
About that. I think we're coming up on 4 because it would have been around October.
Oh,
just before COVID.
That's right. Yeah,
that's right. So yeah, about 3, going on 4 years almost.
Just give me 1 second. Sorry, I gotta pause this.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
I'm so sore.
Me too.
Yeah. How was it? Oh, sorry. Let me continue recording here. Okay, perfect. Yeah, how was your guys' show on Friday?
Oh my god,
Awesome. It's great, man.
It was so great.
Yeah, it was nice to see a good-sized crowd after a couple of years of not doing much of anything as a band.
Yeah.
Pretty much the first metal show that's happened in our city anyway. Like since
Oh,
COVID
really?
started.
Yeah, yeah.
Dang.
So it was like the energy in that room. It was like it was palpable, like
Yeah.
just everybody really was like so into it, and they really like they wanted to be there. Like it was a dry spell for 2 years, so everyone's like, "Fuck COVID," you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was fucking awesome.
Okay, so sorry to get back into the regular timeline here. So you guys picked up Emily just before COVID had started. You guys did 3 practices. You guys played 1 show. Do you guys remember how that show went?
Oh, it was
It was
great.
great.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
As the band members who were there before she was, we can probably attest to it better, but just the fact that she showed up for 3 practices.
Shots
that
fired.
was a
Sad but
money
true.
changer, a game
Yeah.
changer right there. But no, we play with Insurrection from Montreal.
Okay.
And that was the first time we had ever seen them live too. They're just like
Oh,
one of
they're
those
good.
bands that you kind of hear about in passing. You probably listen to a couple times, but we got to play a show with them, which was awesome because they were fantastic. And everybody afterwards like, man, that singer is crazy. We're like 3 practices, and that was like our first show with her. So it was good. It was a good show, and it was a good. I remember that show because it was a good turnout, and it was just a fun night all around.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
it
And
was good
everybody
having
was
her.
kind of surprised too because nobody knew we were changing singers at
yeah.
all. So
Oh, yeah.
all of a sudden we go up on stage and there's a totally different singer on, and they were coming up to us after and going, "What the heck happened?"
From my perspective, it was like twice as funny because they thought I was the chick with the band, right? Like they didn't know I was actually the singer, so they're like, "Oh shit, she's on stage. What's going on?" And then the roar comes out, and they're like,
Oh, by the way, here's the
What?
new singer.
"Yeah." It was surprising, and I think I get a kick out of that sometimes.
Sweet. And then COVID comes in and completely stifles everything. What was your guys' kind of like first reaction when COVID kind of dropped and everything started closing up? And
Yeah, we had a couple of gigs on the schedule, and we were a little bit disappointed that they didn't go through because they were actually pretty good gigs too with bands that we were really looking forward to playing with. So it was pretty disappointing to start see shows falling off.
And
Oh, yeah.
venues closed.
Yeah, the venues closing was the biggest
Yeah.
hit for I think anybody. Like even just talking to people around here, like, well, this place is gone, this place is gone.
Yeah.
Toronto of all places is losing live show venues, and now they have other people saying, well, this isn't happening in my backyard. I moved here. I want this bar gone now. So on top of COVID, you're losing bars in Toronto like that as well.
Mhm.
So it's just kind of whittling everything down. You're like, well, where are we going to play now? Well, there's a couple really good places left, thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of places that we'd have played around in kind of just in the surrounding area in London and Hamilton. And like we got to play Call the Office where a lot of huge names have gone through, and that one's gone again now. And then
Yeah.
This Ain't Hollywood down in Hamilton, we played the Vakken metal battle there. And it bit it too.
Oh
gone.
man.
No, it's like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in Kelowna, we're in this exact same boat. We have literally like that will appease to metal bands. We have 1 venue left, and it's like a brewery / pizza place, and they're very selective with who they bring in and stuff like that because it's a long-winded process or whatever of why the guy doesn't want to put on a whole bunch of shows, but it really sucks. So yeah, like I kind of mentioned before, my lead singer and I we're in the midst of trying to set up something in Kelowna to get these smaller kind of mid-sized bands to come through and like actually have a place to stop when they're traveling the west coast of Canada.
Nice.
And they're trying to make it from Edmonton or Calgary to Vancouver or whatever, and they don't want to just do it all in one go. Then they'll have a stop in Kelowna as well to stop at or whatever.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's a long haul to get from like
Yeah.
over the Rockies and then up the highway over to like Edmonton and places like that. I lived out there for a few years, and it's a lot of driving.
Yeah. Oh man. Our music scene sucks out here.
we
We are coming.
We're-
We are coming to you guys.
yeah, we kind of have a better setup here because we got so many decent sized cities all close together, and between Toronto and Oshawa and everything out to the east, and then over here we've got Hamilton, Niagara, Kitchener, Waterloo, and London, and it's all the bands hit up all these little cities close together.
It sounds
Yeah.
beautiful. It sounds so beautiful.
It's not as good as it used to be just because all the bars closing, obviously.
Yeah.
But we are still able to find some places. I just wish a lot of the venues would kind of do something about their sound systems, so I have to haul a giant 4x12 and a tube head everywhere with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
That's the one thing that I think a lot of the venues, even anywhere, are missing is just the proper sound system to do like loud music. 'Cause a lot of these places like that we used to play, even some of the places we still play, you can tell this is more for like indie rock bands. And you're like, well, I'm gonna blow the doors off your system, but all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, could you just turn down a little bit? Dude,
Yeah.
I'm already at 1. Like, how much lower you want me to go now?
This
Yeah,
is
the room's too small. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of individually, maybe as a band, where do you guys draw your influences from?
Well, I know the drummer
Oh, wow.
is obsessed with King Diamond. Johnny, our drummer,
Dream Theater.
loves King
And Dream
Diamond and
Theater.
Dream Theater. He is obsessed with those guys big time. And Slayer, Dead Skin Mask. That's like the only song I think he knows. If he watches this, he'll probably be laughing and still being like, "What an asshole for saying that." But the only reason I say that is because one time at a show he got really drunk and the entire show was a Slayer show and he's like, "Dance with the dead in my dreams," just over and over and over and over. And weeks after that, in the practice room, he'd be doing the same thing. But yeah, he's into those guys like Slayer, Dream Theater, King Diamond. We've been trying to push him more into like, listen to some In Flames, stuff like that, and Arch Enemy and things. But he's very much like old school thrash and like prog, like new prog stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a weird taste in music, but it works for him.
Yeah. So he likes a lot of the old school thrash stuff too. I think he's really into Anthrax and stuff like that too. Which is
James.
Sorry, Anthrax blew me away. I watched them open up for Slayer on the Slayer's farewell tour.
So did we.
Yeah.
And I never listened or paid any attention to Anthrax before that. But holy shit, man! Their lead singer just like found a way. I was standing way at the back of the arena, and he found a way to make it feel like a personal experience. Like I felt like he was singing right to me the whole time. I was like, wow, this is incredible.
They're amazing.
That's experience for you.
They're fun live. They're just fun to see live.
Yeah.
They still go crazy.
Yeah, they started it with Cotton and Mosh. I was just blown away. Like, yeah. I've been a fan of Anthrax since I was like 15, like 30 years and stuff. And they open up with Cotton and Mosh in Toronto. I lost my shit.
I apologize.
That was a good show.
I didn't mean to hurt anyone's feelings by saying that.
Well, no, it's
never too late to get into a good band.
Totally. Who's Led Zeppelin, by the way?
Oh, you mean those guys who rip off blues artists? Yeah.
Those guys.
Somebody called them a blues cover band recently too.
Oh, jeez.
Ouch.
Oh,
I'm not surprised.
Burn.
Yeah, like I know for Johnny, like that's the main stuff he's into for drumming. James, the other guitar player, he's into a lot of like older In Flames, Arch Enemy, Soilwork. James is a music encyclopedia, so he kind of listens to everything.
Yeah.
If you literally have a music question, he'll be the guy to answer it without even looking online. He'll just know off the top of his head. So he listens to a lot of different stuff.
You can name drop anybody in any metal band, and he'll just go, oh, and off he goes.
Oh, they also worked with this producer and this engineer on this album, and then back after that they did this. Like, why do you know this stuff?
I've discovered so many bands because of him. Yeah. Like he's like, hey, check this band out. I'm like, holy shit, they're really good.
That's an important person right there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
my dad's the same way, but with like kind of 60s, 70s, 80s rock. He'll just like the plethora of information exactly the same. Like he'll be like, oh, do you know that on this Ramones track that actually the bass is played by one Paulie Marco, aka Paul McCartney? And I'm like, what? No way. Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
No, it's a totally made up story, but my dad would come up with something like that.
So what you're saying is if you make stuff up, you can sound like you know what you're talking about.
We'll start fact checking James now, but I don't think he's ever wrong anyway.
Well, fucking Wikipedia says this. That's too funny.
Yeah, you can go after that. I think we've covered James and Johnny.
Well, what about you?
Well, you're the singer. You go first.
Whoever.
Oh, well, I don't know. I listen to a lot of different music. So, I mean, I listen to jazz, I listen to classical, metal's my first love, obviously.
Mhm.
But I'm really into the melodic death metal, right? Like the whole like Gothenburg scene. Love it.
Mhm.
Some new acts that I've discovered recently. Unfortunately, thanks to Spotify. But like Fractal Gates, do you know who they are? They're
No.
amazing.
I'm writing them down.
There's so many good ones. I've been obsessed for like 2 years with Insomnium and Omium Gatherum. I don't even know if I'm probably butchering the name, but they're Finnish, I think.
Okay.
They're like the whole Finnish like metal scene, Scandinavian metal scene is like, yeah, yeah, that's my jam.
We've interviewed a
For
few
sure.
of them.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, incredible musicians. So
Oh.
crazy.
Mhm.
She got to sing for Dark Tranquility once
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
for about 30 seconds when the
Yeah,
mic was in the
man.
crowd, and then afterwards he's like, "Wow."
Whoa.
Yeah,
That would have been an experience.
Oh, dude.
That happened like a long
Yes.
time ago. We have video footage of it. I think it's on your Facebook page. We probably have to.
Oh,
put
yeah,
that
I think it
damn
might
thing.
be.
But yeah, like he hands the microphone to her. I'm just standing behind her, and she goes. I can't remember what song it was, but it was one of the clean
Mundane
parts.
and the Magic.
Mundane and the Magic,
Yeah.
the clean part, and she nailed it. And afterwards, like, wow.
Thanks,
He
Michael.
picked the right one out of the crowd.
Sorry, I'm writing that down as well.
That's our claim to fame. That
Yeah,
one time
totally.
she sang Dark Tranquility, but wasn't at all on stage or in the band.
People don't have to know the sticky details, you know?
Yeah.
All
Just
right.
tell them the base of it and hope they don't ask any questions.
Yeah, that was an amazing night, at least for me.
I guess I'll go next then.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've kind of got a lot of influences all over the place. Being a bassist, obviously, I'm going to say something like Primus and
Yeah.
some other stuff like that. But I mean, I was a giant fan of Nine Inch Nails for a long time. I still love all of their older stuff.
Mhm.
The more recent stuff, not as much, but also like Cold Chamber and Devil Driver now. But lately I've been listening to Meshuggah a lot, like just loving the different times. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but they're
Different
you wouldn't
from
even call them
4/4.
time signatures, but they're the way they play and everything. I've really been listening to a lot of that and enjoying the drum beats and stuff like that on it. But
It's the math metal.
yeah, math metal.
Ah.
Yeah, totally like prog metal, right? Meshuggah.
Yeah, prog and industrial but I like by heart, since I was a teenager, I've always been a huge grunge guy. So a lot of that stuff too. I'll play a lot of Seattle alternative rock and stuff like that from the 90s, like Stone Temple Pilots and Soundgarden and all that stuff. But
those fucking bass players were so amazing back then.
oh yeah, they still are.
Those kids
Yeah.
today.
Matt Cameron is amazing, and I really enjoy a lot of like I said, prog stuff as too. I've been to see Dream Theater with Johnny. That was an interesting night. He was just losing his mind the whole night. But some of the other prog stuff like Tool as well. So Justin from Tool is just an incredible bassist. So a lot of influences and stuff that I've played along with over the years. That's where I am.
Did you ever get into a band called Carnivool?
No.
They're from Australia, kind of along the same lines as like Tool-esque or whatever, but another great bass player. Holy shit.
Yeah, Carnivool.
Carnivool. It's like spelled Karnivool.
Okay.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan of Bellator, so.
Yeah, there's been some good stuff coming out of Australia lately too, like Alien Weaponry too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
those guys were good. Oh.
Carnivool, they're older. They're like from 04, 05-ish or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna have to check that out.
But still
for
really
sure.
good.
Cool. We'll check it out.
I put it on my phone. We can listen
Awesome.
to it after.
Nice, nice. Do you know Bellacore?
No.
Oh my God, you gotta check them out. They're amazing. Also, Australian, I believe. So
Okay, sweet.
yeah, they're so good.
Bellacore.
Yes, I think it's like BE''LAKOR.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll find them.
I love finding new music, man. I live for it.
Oh yeah, especially like, okay, so I went through this year of really getting into metal again. Like I listened to metal a lot when I was in high school and stuff like that, and I always did listen to the same heavy bands from high school, but I kind of went into like a bluesy 90s heavy mix sort of in my 20s or whatever. And then I joined a metal band, got into metal, listened to mainstream metal for a whole year, and I was like, dang.
A whole year.
Yeah. Well, because it's exactly like anything that's mainstream. It's just like they take this beautiful product, and then they see how many different bands can achieve this beautiful product, right? And eventually you're just like, I don't want to listen to this anymore. I want to hear some fuck ups. I want to hear some guitar that doesn't sound perfect. I want to hear vocals that don't sound perfect and stuff like that. So I went on this huge binge of just trying to find as many underground bands as I could, right? And
Nice.
I've never really looked back ever since. So
Nice, nice. I don't think we got your influences. I think some people would be.
Oh, that's okay. I
surprised.
talked enough for everybody else.
come on, we have to know your influences now.
Well, yeah.
My influences, it's the Offspring and Megadeth. I mean, if you want to boil it down to just two bands completely, it's the Offspring and Megadeth in that order. When I started playing guitar, I started playing because of the Offspring. They had just released Ixnay on the Umbre, and I had never actually heard any of their music until about 2 years after the record was released, because I was a nerd and all I heard was MIDI files online of like gotta get away and keep them separated and stuff like that. And I found out it was an actual band, so I'm like, Mom, can we go to the store? I want to buy the CD. Okay, and I listened to it. I'm like, I need to learn how to do this. So then I was like, I need a guitar. So I had to go buy a guitar, and then as soon as I got the guitar, I learned everything Offspring. Like it took me a year to learn everything they had. And then I joined a band, and the bass player is like, you got to check this out. And all I saw was the radioactive symbol on a bright yellow CD case. Threw it in, it was Megadeth, Rust in Peace. And then I was just done after that. I was like, no, I have to learn all this. I want to learn how to do that. I don't know how the hell he's doing that. That's way more complicated than the chords I'm playing right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I boiled down to that, just metal, punk and metal and thrash. I got into like the melodic death metal and stuff like In Flames and all that sort of stuff, but it always just seems to go back to like the punk stuff and the thrash metal stuff. I've never gotten into prog metal or anything like that. I leave that to the drummers.
Yeah.
But
Drummers
it's
and bass
just
players.
yeah, I mean it's I like a lot of stupid crap. I'll listen to Roy Orbison from time to time too. It's just a smattering of garbage with me, basically. I'm not as eclectic as James or these guys who have actual taste in music. I'm boring.
No.
But that's it. Just Megadeth and the Offspring. I'm done.
My newest thing, I got a new coworker at work. Well, I shouldn't say new. We've been working together about a year, and he listens to so much electronic dance music, and I've literally fallen in love with it so hardcore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like the closest thing that's still heavy and fast, but not metal, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, it's
I
a little bit
gotcha.
strange,
I gotcha.
but it fills the voids that I need in my life, you know?
Nice, nice.
You always just start recording some guitar. Everything sounds better with a distorted guitar in it.
Right?
Yeah, man.
The
Back
metal remixes.
Hey man, back in the '90s, I'll admit to it too. I liked a bunch of the EDM stuff from back then, like the Crystal Method, the Chemical Brothers, stuff like that. And it was you busting stuff or what?
Maybe.
I'm a closet Prodigy
Yeah.
fan. I'm just
Prodigy was wicked too back in the day. I actually saw that the Crystal Method's coming to Waterloo, and ooh, you know what? That's tempting to go and see that. I've seen them before, and it was a good show. Back in the old Lollapalooza days and stuff like that over in Molson Park and Barrie, got to see them there, and They actually played while there was lightning going overhead, and it was just, like, okay, either this is going to be awesome or we're going to die.
Either way, it's pretty metal.
Yeah. God's putting on our light show today, all right?
Oh, yeah.
So you guys are in the studio right now, I see. What do you are you guys got a release date for a new single, anything like that?
No.
No, we actually we decided that we were supposed to record over COVID, and then nothing ever happens the way it's supposed to happen. Just like with everything else in life, if you're in a band, it's just 10 times worse. Where you're like, we got to do this, and it doesn't fucking happen for like years. But we got an offer for another show. Was it next month or the month after or something? And we're just like, no, we need to record something. It's been a few years. We've had the time. We haven't had the ability to do it just because of crap going on with everybody and everything else going on in the world. And we need to get some stuff out with her. We need to we're going to re-record the entire first EP with her, and we're going to redo all the guitars, all the drums, everything from scratch up till the vocals being done, because we all got a bunch of new gear and we want it on the record because we're cynical like that, I guess. But no, we're hoping that it's not going to take a long time, but it shouldn't take more than, I say, 5 months, because that's when we apparently have another show coming up.
We don't want to pin it down to a release date. The last time we did that, we were
it's a bad time.
It was a bad time because we were trying and getting stressed out trying to make that date. And we found if we pin ourselves to a date and we absolutely have to have a release done by that point, it's going to get super stressful and it's going to add a lot of negativity into what we're trying to do. So we're not going to pin it down. We're going to do, song by song releases, especially with the stuff that's already been put out on our demo. We'll re-record it, release it gradually, put it up on the internet like we've done with a couple songs already. Mm-hmm. And then we'll go from there. Once we have enough for an actual release, we'll put it all together, compile it into a CD or something, and off we go.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that we were talking about a lot. Like, what do we do these days? Do you do the full album and release it, or just do song by song? It's a different time than even like 5 years ago, because you're like, well, people just throw songs that going out of style, and you got the owner of Spotify saying, well, you just need to make more music to make more money. It's like, well, I can only make so much music when you're paying me like not 1/50th of a dollar for it.
Yeah, right.
But like, so I think we're probably
2 cents per play there, guys.
Yeah, not even. It's like 0.0002 cents per play if you're lucky. But I think we're probably gonna, like Brian said, we're done a song, get it out there. We're done a song, get it out there, because a lot of the problem that bands run into is trying to find the ability to record their stuff over and over in short bursts. We have the ability to do that. We've gotten Johnny set up. I will be straight up front with anybody who asks us. Like, the drums are digital, but it's Johnny playing his actual drum kit. We just translate it so we don't have to worry about trying to mix drums every single time with the mic switching minor positions, and it just sounds like crap suddenly. Yeah. We're just going to literally mic up every single piece of his kit anytime we need to, and then translate it into MIDI, and it's just going to be Johnny playing. We're not going to quantize it. If he doesn't play it right, we're going to make him play it till he gets it, basically.
Beautiful.
But it just means that we have the ability to just say, well, we want to record this song, throw the mics on, don't worry about the mixing or the mastering, because we already have the project set up from something else we did, and we can just blast the new drums into there, and there's the song completed. It cuts a lot of time out for us, and for the size of room that we have, we can't record drums to sound good with microphones anyways, so it would just hurt the production if we didn't translate it into something digital that we can then manipulate how we see fit, or how Johnny wants his drum kit to sound.
Cool.
Also, it's hard to get in here unless you come down at 3:00 in the morning and get a quiet room.
Yeah, trying to record drums.
There's other studios all around us in here. Everybody's got a little studio space, and there's hourly rentals and stuff for local musicians to come into practice like they're doing today. So it's hard to get it done and have a nice, quiet level background behind us that we can record over using mics. So, but we do it this way. Now we don't have to worry about that so much.
Just with the vocals, that's still a pain in the butt. But we can't synth vocals yet, just yet.
That'll be a bit of a challenge, I think. But
our first EP actually was all done on electronic drums, and then went through the recording interface with VSTs or something like that, and then and I thought the drums sounded amazing doing it like that. For like just the EP that we did in like my lead singer's bedroom or whatever, like it turned out not so bad.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, what band, realistically, what band has money to go and pay a studio to like lay down the drum tracks? Like it,
Well, you're talking a couple
It's
grand
insane.
for a full album just for drum tracks at a decent studio, or like we
Yeah.
did where it's digital. And yeah, there's a lot of guys, I don't name any names on YouTube, but anybody who's in a band knows the guys who are like, you better record the real drums. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna give me the $3,000 to go and do that and get the room. I'm doing it the way
Right?
I can.
Yeah.
Sorry if you've heard these drums before because they've been used on major records, but I was able to get the software so I can translate what we hear as a band into music for somebody else to understand.
And then you
Mhm.
can mix the sound the way you want them afterwards, right?
Yeah.
It's not like
It's not like it's set in stone. You're always, we use the presets when we're recording it just so we can be like, all right, here's what it's going to sound like when we're doing the recording so we can listen to it. But when you're going back and finishing the product, I'm not going to be like, oh no, we'll just load up that Steven Slate one because it's Steven Slate. Like, no, man. We even told Johnny, like, don't worry about it. We can layer whatever drums you want on this. We can get it sound the way you want, and then we'll build on the foundation of how the drums sound the way you want them to sound, and we'll tune the guitars or whatever to sound proper with that mix. It's drummer's choice at that point, but I don't want it to be like you said, oh, everybody's heard this drum kit before. It doesn't matter. You're getting the music out there, man. Like
Yeah.
it's not as easy as it used to be.
if anyone noticed that there was another person's drums on a drum track, I would be amazed.
Oh,
Right?
some people on YouTube know everything and they can tell the difference right
Yeah.
away.
You can totally tell by
Yeah.
listening through a set of headphones on YouTube.
Yeah, those guys who are in
Mm.
bands releasing records. Oh wait,
Yeah.
Is
Get back
that
in
the
your dungeon,
Mapex
troll,
kit?
all right?
it's just it's gotten really irritating over the last few years. There's a lot of YouTubers. Like I said, I'm not naming any names, but if you're into music stuff on YouTube, you've probably heard people say, "Don't cup the microphone," or "Don't do this," or "You have to do that." I'm like, man, get the music out. If somebody's really into it, it doesn't matter if it sounds like shit or somebody thinks it sounds digital. It wasn't for like 4 years until someone's like, "Hey, did you guys use digital drums on your EP?" And I'm like, "Well, yes." Like we had to do it. It was the option we had at the time. And it's not like we have the option to throw money at something to solve a problem. It's like, well, how can we do this ourselves with what we have?
Yeah, we pay for this shit out of pocket, man. We're not loaded.
It's so hard to capture the magic of what a metal show is too in a recording, right?
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
Like you have to. It's just like here's a teaser. Hopefully you like it, but come see our live show. Like you'll fucking love it way more.
Oh, actually, there's a guy on Friday. He came up to me. I was outside smoking. He's like, "Man, I heard your stuff before, and I just, it's just another melodic death metal band or whatever. But Co was over, so I figured I'd come." He's like, "Man, the show is way better than the record." I'm like, "Man, that's the old singer. We'll just leave it at that."
and that too, right?
Oh.
Yeah, getting a different lineup and technology advancements and what we're able to do as bands is going to help in the long run. But I guess there's probably still going to be people who don't want to see the progression the way it's going and figure everything. Well, it's got to be a tube amp. It's got to be mic'd up. Everything has to be, analog to digital, not digital to digital.
You know what I call those people? Purists.
Yeah. I mean, I play a tube amp. James plays a tube amp, but if it came down to it, we're going to plug into a computer if it sounds better.
Yeah, I mean, you do what's right for the music, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you'd be surprised. I've interviewed a lot of bands, more so out of the States, but there is tons of bands out there that will drop $1,500 to $2,000 a song.
who's got money? Like, seriously.
Well, those guys down there get paid properly for the work they do.
Well, no,
They do
like,
crazy.
yeah.
So this one guy, one of the best friends I made out of doing these these interviews and stuff like that. The guy's name's Alec Maleficus Lopez, and yeah, man, he's paying like $2,000 a song right now. I think they only have two songs recorded, and then he's talking about full album, and I'm like putting the numbers together in my head, and I'm like, holy fuck, like this kid's gonna go in like 20 grand or whatever. Or 16,000 like
Crazy.
for a full length album. I'm like, whew, too rich for
That's
my
a lot.
blood.
Yeah,
technology,
same.
everything's just come so far in recording that with an independent band, you drop like $2,000 or $3,000. Well, you're pretty much set. Like you can record whatever you want. It's not going to sound like top of the line. I just walked out of a recording studio that cost $3 million to make this album, but it's going to sound damn close.
Mhm.
Like, you're not going to be like, oh, I can tell it's recorded on a Focusrite interface. Nobody knows that shit. Like, come on, man. There's being a gear snob and a tone snob, and there's just being the person who doesn't want to listen to music. That's what I look at it as. There's people who just don't actually want to listen to music, and they just want to sit there and pick shit apart because they're more cynical than me, which is sad.
I've got a name for those too. Those are dicks.
You can't tell me that anything that plays that's mainstream nowadays, like all the bands that I still love, and I'll still check out their releases and stuff, but it's way too polished, man. I love Of Mice and Men and oh frick, I just had another band in my head, but it sounds amazing, and I'm like, oh my god, this sounds so good, but I'm like, I'd rather listen to something a little dirtier.
Yeah, something with a
Nice.
mistake or two here or there. I mean, we go through our stuff with a fine-tooth comb in the end, but if there's something, like you start with the drums, you do it at the click track, you did it at the click track, you're slightly off. Cool. It's more organic that way. We'll re-record the guitars to go with what you played, and then do it that way. There's a million ways around it sounding digital, so you don't have to sound like everything's right on the money and perfect. I'm not Ariana Grande, whatever the hell her name is. I don't play our songs perfectly every time. Why am I going to try and fake it on a recording just to make it like, well, I sound like this every time? It's like, no, I fucking don't, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'll leave some stuff in and I'll work around a few mistakes so it sounds more natural at least.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to be drunk and high at my show, so it's definitely not going to sound like the recording.
It'll sound close, at least to me.
The big difference when you're jumping around on stage and moving and stuff, and when you're standing stock still in a studio, not moving.
Yeah. Like there's a point where you stop trying to get that one take. You're like, you know what? It's flubby, but it's good enough, and it's gonna sound better in the mix. Because like you said, man, I don't want everything to sound perfect. I go back and listen to old Megadeth records, and I can hear like ghost snares in there they didn't remove from a $10 million record. If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for any band to sound like a band doing it.
Yeah,
I'd rather hear the passion than the cleanliness, you know?
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
I kind of take pride. Like, I don't have anything. Okay, I'm about to lie through my teeth. So
No, I'm gonna do it anyways.
I'm gonna do it anyways. So, like, you know, people who use like autotune, for example. I don't have anything against autotune if it's used the way it's supposed to be used, rather than
fixing everything
because the person can't sing, for example. I find that super irritating, and I can pick it out of a song almost every time. Like when it's so obvious that it's not the person anymore, it's the computer. It's just like that just ruins it for me, you know? So I guess my philosophy is, if you can't do it properly, you need to practice.
Yeah. And
so, like, we don't use a ton of auto-tune.
I never paid for that software, so we don't have it.
Because I practice.
We actually don't
I'm
have
proud of
auto-tune.
Yeah.
Many takes.
Yeah.
Oh,
as
God,
many
yeah.
takes as it takes.
So,
oh, God.
So one of my best friends in high school, he goes to this prestigious recording school in Kelowna called the Center for Arts and Technology. He gets his degree in recording or whatever, and then he's approached by this rapper out of California, and he sends him his vocal tracks, and he's like, hey man, can you do like a quick mix on this beat with my vocals or whatever? And my friend Kirsten, he looks at me and he's like, dude, I'm not even exaggerating when I tell you that I had to like go in and pitch correct every part of his vocals for the whole track. I think it was three tracks actually, and all three tracks needed every little bit pitch corrected, and I was like, wow, I don't think you get paid enough, dude.
No, seriously.
That's the point where like, I can do this. It's going to cost you a lot of money, or you could practice.
Yeah, like just practice. You'll get better, I promise.
Anybody who's recorded
worse.
If you've recorded something as a band ever done any recording, you know that there for each part is probably 100 takes behind that somebody did. You're talking about a solo part, well, that number is probably doubled or tripled at that point until they got that take and they're like, no, it's fine. I still remember when before she was in the band, we were at her apartment recording a part for a song, and it was just kind of off the top of my head. I'm like, no, I got this picking pattern, I got to do it. And I sat there for like 20 minutes straight just trying to do this really, really simple picking pattern that wasn't simple. It was obviously took 20 minutes to get it down. But after I was done, she's like, well, you only did that once. I'm like, yeah, trust me, I'm going to have to go back later and relearn it. It's going to take a while. So it happens in the studio. But like people who go into a studio and just like send your friend tracks like that, I'm like, man, how did you not hear that you need to practice? Like, I can tell when I sound like ass. I can tell when I'm messed up or I did something stupid. How can you not go back and be like, I can save myself time and money if I just did it right the first time?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Boggles the mind, really.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
No, you like practice, man. That's what a lot of people don't get about this. This isn't just something you jump into and do. No, this is a lot of time and effort and money and blood and sweat and other bodily fluids you put into it.
And sometimes there's a lot of tears too.
The funniest part is I go to we recorded our newest EP, whatever it was, kind of a year and a half after COVID started, and so first EP we're at Rob's place. We record with him. The thing turned out amazing. Like I loved the whole recording process and everything, but the quality of the sound quality just wasn't quite there. We go to our new drummer's place. We had a lineup change. Go to a new drummer's place. We're gonna record our second EP. I leave him this thin, frilly, gross sounding bass line. Like, yeah, all the parts were there and everything, but it was just this really nasty sounded recording.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Fix it in post.
Yeah. He sends me back the finished product, and I was like, I phoned up my lead guitar player right away. I was like, Dale, we hit it, man. We're the real deal now. Like, we're gonna be legit. We're gonna be fucking legit.
We're gonna make $5.
It was crazy. He made it sound so amazing, and I was like, wow.
See, that's the benefit though with digital stuff. You can save things sometimes when you're like, no, like that one take, it sounds like shit, but it's great playing. So can we fix it? Yeah, you can probably fucking fix it these days.
Yeah.
But using shit like that to fix a garbage performance, what's the point?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You need the performance there, and yeah, you can have some fuck ups with the way it sounds, but you can probably pull it back somehow, or at least get it workable. And like a crappy performance where, like she said, you're gonna hear the auto tune coming through on every freaking note. What's the point?
Exactly. Just practice. I promise it'll work.
So did you guys play any different instruments in high school? Any of you guys play trumpet or clarinet, anything like that?
Oh,
Tuba.
Yeah.
Tuba.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes. From tuba to bass, I love it.
Nice.
I played the drums because they wouldn't let me play guitar.
Oh.
I
Not
used
even
to play.
And not even in jazz band?
No, like it was like grade 10 or something like that. I think. Yeah, it was grade 10.
Okay.
I tried to get in the music. Well, I didn't try to get. They let me into the music program in high school. And they're like, "Oh, do you play anything?" I'm like, "Yeah, I play guitar." And like they had known that because I had played Leper Messiah for one of those school, what the hell, talent show things. That's
Oh
what it is.
yeah.
I auditioned to play Leper Messiah. Long story short, though, we didn't get to play it because a teacher died recently. He died of cancer. And we were going out playing Leper Messiah because they changed what the thing was for. Is for his memory of his passing. I'm like, oh, we can't fucking play Leper Messiah for a cancer tribute now, can we? But outside of that, they knew I could do this stuff, but they got into class like, well, we don't want you playing guitar because we don't have the sheet music for it. I'm like, well, I'll go pull the tabs off the internet. They're like, oh, just play the drums. I'm like, I don't know how to play fucking drums. So I played drums for 1 year and I got 70% in that class. I never
That's
went.
not bad.
It's not as good as Brian. He actually knows how to play the tuba.
I did. That was a long time ago.
Similarly.
I probably haven't played it in 20 years, but yeah, I played it like right up through grade 13.
Could you pick it up again if you?
I could probably remember how to do it.
Let's
There
do
you
a
go.
ska song.
I was gonna say let's put the tuba in there.
It was all like kind of orchestral arrangement shit that we played, so it's a little bit.
Have you guys heard of a band called Brass Against?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, man. Like
not.
tuba and bass lines are amazing.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was surprised you guys haven't heard of them. The lead singer pissed on a guy's face in front of a huge crowd.
Oh, that's the guy?
You know, it was a girl.
Yeah,
What?
I remember that. I remember hearing
Yeah,
about
she
that.
squatted down and pissed on a fan's face. Apparently, it was prearranged or something, but
But
yeah,
yeah, she got into some big trouble over that.
oh
too.
yeah. Like it was. So people in the crowd were like, "Dude, like you can't do that stuff. That's we weren't expecting that kind of
Gigi Allen.
like X-rated stuff going on stage.
Somebody just reached behind me.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
No, they're like a brass Rage Against the Machine cover
Wow.
band.
Oh,
So
crazy.
they were on tour opening for Tool.
I gotta hear them.
Wait, they're a cover
Or,
band. Of the
I might be
for
wrong
Tool?
about that. No,
Yeah, they
They
do
were-
Tool
they were
covers as well, man. They're
Oh,
amazing.
okay.
So
So it's not
amazing.
just Rage stuff. It's like a few different bands they cover.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. I'm gonna have to check that out too.
Yeah,
And now I'm like so curious. I have to know.
with a black female lead that, and she can freaking wail too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
fucking hot too. Like holy shit.
Yes.
Not hot enough to get peed on though.
I think like I draw a line somewhere. That's not.
Yeah, no
Where's
water.
that
That's
graph
too far.
cross?
Too
Where's
far.
the graph lines on that where they cross where it's just hot enough to get peed on, but then not?
Yeah.
Let's ask Dumb and Dumber.
How cold is it outside? And are you riding a moped?
And Em, what about you? What did you play in high school?
I used to scrape on violin a little bit.
Ooh.
I can't remember music theory. It's been way too long. I was in choir though.
Okay.
We did competitions and shit. Yeah.
Did you do any
And-
solos?
Solos, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I took singing lessons for 6 months, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Also, and then yeah, I was
Sweet.
singing. I mean, product times. I was singing shit like Mariah Carey, but like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
high school.
it's high school. You sing what's popular because you don't want to stand out too much, and then eventually you're just like, fuck that. I want to be me.
Yeah. I'll scream into these vocals.
Damn right.
How do you guys like? Obviously, with COVID hitting and stuff like that, you guys had to go more digital, social media. How do you guys find navigating the social media end of things?
Should I say it?
Can
She
we
doesn't.
talk frankly?
Yeah, absolutely. Give her.
We made her do it.
Yep. It's my job to do the social media and marketing and all that shit.
How do you find it then?
Guys, I love you guys, but I fucking hate social media.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with
Sorry,
the fans.
it's not the fans. It's all the other stupid shit I
It's
see
the
every day.
construct that
It's-
is social
Yeah.
media.
It stresses me out, and I hate doing it.
Yeah.
But I do it for the fans. You know.
Too many trolls.
Not even the
Yeah.
trolls. It's just trying to be like, well, you're even if you're just an individual user versus a band,
Yeah.
the same respect for both apply. You post something and you're sitting there like, oh, how many likes did I get? And if you don't get the likes or nobody's sharing, you're like, fuck, is anybody going to show up to this? Like, what's going on here? You're kind of hanging by the thread of a needle. Even 10 years ago, it wasn't like that. Like, people would say, oh, I'm coming to the show. And they say on Facebook they're going, whatever. But now nobody wants to interact with social media anymore. It's starting to die, fortunately,
it
in my opinion.
does.
I'm sick of that crap. I wish I had the knowledge or knew somebody or somebody had the knowledge to release a proper platform that is at least nationwide for bands, or if not, like North American wide for bands to connect with fans, like not Facebook shit like that. It's just gotten out of control. And as far as I'm concerned, social media is a necessary evil for a band. And I appreciate that people are
Yeah.
willing to follow us still on those garbage
Mhm.
platforms that exist to
Mhm.
come out to our shows. I can't thank them enough for that, but I really wish
sure.
there was a better way for us to interact with fans on a level instead of just being like, well, here's a stupid Facebook post, here's a picture on Instagram. Woo!
Yeah, same. I think personally for me, my whole take on is social media just brings out the absolute worst in people. That's like the worst thing. And it's just like, who are we now? Like, we're these like social media junkies apparently who, you know, have nothing better to do with their day than like scroll through their phones and just insulting people for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
You know, it just brings out the absolute worst, and I fucking hate it.
Yeah,
I
used
really
to be
do.
an email list. Like back when I was younger, it's email list. Send someone an email. I got a show coming up. Tons of people would show up. I don't know. I may be sounding old, but I think times have actually changed quite a bit for how bands interact with
Yeah.
fans and how we're able to play shows and who shows up to the show.
Yeah.
It's gotten kind of weird, and you're still as an independent band trying to figure out like, well, how can I get more people to come out? How can I interact better with my fans? Because
Mhm.
I fucking hate Facebook. I fucking hate Instagram.
Yeah.
but everybody uses it. But at the same time, I know everybody's fed up with it. So what do we do?
Yeah. Oh, you want to hear weird shit? You're a chick in
Oh.
chick in a metal band? Holy
Dick pics.
shit. Holy shit. I have seen so many dicks that I never wanted to see in my life. Like, when did that become acceptable to send a picture of your junk to a total stranger who never asked for it? Like,
Unsolicited dick pics.
I don't get it.
This is why the men in the band stopped checking the Facebook page.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
Too
seriously.
many dicks.
When the fuck did this become a thing? Like, all
So-
you jerks out there that do that, fuck all of you.
So I have a gay cousin, and he gets unsolicited dick pics. He'll send that emoji, the one emoji back of like the
Oh, the eggplant.
yeah
The eggplant
like,
emoji.
or yeah no like the like, oh, what is that little thing, or like a
Yeah.
magnifying glass or something
Oh.
like that. He just
You know
trolls.
what You know what I started doing in response to these fucking unsolicited dick pics that I never wanted to see in my whole fucking life? I go on Google and I find images of the most fucked up, like, surgery dicks ever with like pus and shit coming out of it. I'm like, here you go. Here's mine.
That's so good.
They
That's
usually
so
don't
good.
reply after that.
Send him a dick pic back. Here's mine.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Do you think
seriously,
this
like,
boil
when did
looks
that become-
normal?
When did that become acceptable though? Like, seriously. Ugh.
That's the internet.
Anyway.
Another byproduct of the wonderful internet.
I fucking hate social media.
This is like the most fun I've had on the internet in like 10 years.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Oh god.
What are you guys' plans for the next year and a half?
Definitely recording more than anything
Yeah,
else.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
even-
in the studio for the next 5 months straight.
Yeah.
Minimum.
We
Minimum.
sort of we said we're gonna go in the studio until we're done. But then literally yesterday somebody messaged us from a previous interview and performance thing that we did, and while we were there he mentioned he was going to do a festival outdoors, and he said, would you guys be interested? And we said, oh yeah, absolutely. And then he messaged yesterday after we said, okay, we're back in the studio, and that's that. And we went, oh yeah,
Oh shit.
we did kind of say we were going to do that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
months.
We got 5 months. That's enough time. We can do it. So it's in the
Mhm.
studio working on new material and re-releases for the next 5 months.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then August 13th, we're
That's
gonna go
right.
back out, and then it's back to the studio again.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We were going to take advantage of the COVID thing
Mhm.
to record shit, but
Life.
happened.
Yeah, and COVID made things difficult.
Oh
too.
fuck
Yeah.
yeah, it did.
There was a
Absolutely.
while where we weren't allowed to be down here at our studio, even though we kept the place.
Mhm.
Yeah, one person at a time.
That we
for
could
a
only
bit
come
there.
in one at a time, so we couldn't really do recording at all.
Yeah.
So
Isn't it-
and we kind of had to work with the other inhabitants of the studio space that we didn't go over 10 people in the building at once, and for us to come down and do recording, usually that was at least 3, and if we needed to practice and we needed all 5 of us here, we had to
Mhm.
That's
coordinate
half the
with the rest.
capacity of the building.
Yeah. So-
So it made it just a pain in the ass, and
Yeah.
and it made it difficult for us to get anything done. And
Mm.
we did get a little bit of progress here and there, and we got a couple of tracks updated, and
Mhm.
we did get one new one sort of semi-complete to the point that we can actually perform it.
Yeah, we played
we
it live
just
a few times.
we've played it like 3 times now. So
Is it 3?
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
we should also mention we are at the garage in Kitchener-Waterloo. They do hourly rentals. If you ever want
Yeah.
to listen to Northshroud for free, just come rent a room for the hour.
you'll hear it. You'll hear it.
You'll hear all the fuck ups. It'll be
Yeah.
fun.
We haven't thanked Pat in a while. But we really like to thank Pat, the guy who
Yeah.
runs our jam
Yes.
space. Like, this is the reason we have this whole
Yeah.
ability to do this. Is because he
Mhm.
has a jam space that he rents out to bands in Kitchener-Waterloo, and he helps the scene big time with
Oh,
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
huge.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
and
he was down here on Friday night right up until 9 o'clock, making sure people could get in and do their jam and whatever they had to do. And then the guy was out on a Saturday show right after.
yeah, like
The
the
guy's-
guy's
he's
amazing.
awesome.
He's
and
also
shout out to
he's
Pat.
literally can sing like Bruce Dickinson, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah,
Dude,
he's in Ed
seriously.
Force One. He's the singer
Yeah.
for Ed Force One. Go check him
Oh,
out. They're
wow.
playing a show soon too.
Yeah,
They're amazing.
next
Like,
next Friday, I think.
so good.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, I
so
didn't mean to
good.
derail that, but I was like, we haven't thanked Pat in a while, and like
Yeah.
we're sitting in this room.
We have to. We have to.
So
Yeah.
if you guys are gonna put on a live show like that, is there gonna be like a designated person that can knock on your guys' wall and just be yelling, "Freebird, play
If somebody-
Freebird!"
Whoa! If somebody ever yells at me to play Freebird, my guitar is very pointy. James' guitar is very pointy. It will go where you don't want it to.
Yeah, it's going to
don't
be an
call it an
epic
axe for
demise.
nothing.
You're going to get stabbed with a guitar.
Next, you're gonna be like, "Oh, play Immigrant Song."
Yeah.
They don't call
No.
them. No thanks. No Stairway to Heaven.
Denied.
They don't call them axes for nothing, you know?
Yeah, back to the original question. I think we're probably gonna try and get some music out before the next show.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
It's probably gonna. We're lucky in the fact that everybody in the band knows the songs that we've been playing for the last while before M was on the recording, so we can all go in there and just bash them out one by one. No worries, get that done, get our vocals on the original tracks, and then start moving forward with some new stuff that, quite honestly, does sound quite a bit different than what we've been
Mhm.
doing in terms of just melody and harmony, because M can actually sing and stuff.
Oh, thanks.
And now Chris and I are actually recording our backing vocals, whereas before
Mhm.
Yeah.
it was the previous singer. He would do all the parts, and we didn't really do much in the background. And to be honest, we didn't even record our backing vocals.
No, we didn't. It was all
even
M.
for the songs where we did do them live. So
Yeah.
there's a bit of a change. There's been lyric changes. There's been tempo changes. There's been a bunch of stuff with the songs. So
Yeah.
the re-releases are going to sound better.
Yeah, Johnny
agree.
wants to rework his drums from the ground up
Mhm.
for those songs too. So we're just gonna start from bare basics with him and just go through the songs, like, what do you want to play, what do you want to change,
Yeah.
sort of stuff like that. But at least for the rest of us outside of Johnny, and well, you know the songs the way you sing them now, but
Yeah.
she
Mhm.
would much rather be doing some newer stuff to get her ideas out there, her vocal patterns out there. So as soon as we're done the old stuff, it's basically brand new songs. Get them done, get them out with the new stuff, and then stop playing the old stuff live and start playing the new stuff live.
No offense, guys. I love the songs. I do. But it'd be so nice to be able to sing something I wrote.
Other than one song.
Yeah,
Yeah,
other
one
than
song.
one.
That's okay. Rewrite the lyrics to all of them. We don't care.
Perfect.
enough of the Vikings with guns.
Yeah, Vikings with guns.
Yeah, if you listen to some of
What?
our lyrics, there's one song where the Vikings had guns.
I like the old vocalist. I found that his vocals were a little bit hard to distinguish, but I definitely did hear some Viking stuff in there, and I was like, damn, okay, I can get behind this.
He was listening to a lot of Amon Amarth, I think.
Well,
at
that
the
was
time.
when
I see.
their new album came out like
Yeah.
6 years ago. Well, I shouldn't say
Yeah.
new, it's 6
Yeah.
years ago. And we kind of got some preliminary recordings done, showed it to a couple of friends. My one buddy's like, "So you're the Canadian Amon Amarth?" I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, shit.
We went back to practice, and literally we told the singer, like, "Dude, you got to rewrite all the lyrics. Like, we're not doing Vikings for an entire record. That's not our bag.
Right.
I get it. You're listening to it. It's fine,
Yeah.
but we're not doing that." So after that, it was basically like he rewrote all the lyrics. He used a lot of what James had written for the lyrics and interpreted parts of it into what he wanted. But James predominantly wrote the lyrics for that record.
Oh, okay.
True. Mhm.
Little plot twist there.
Yeah.
Something you didn't know.
Something we have never actually talked about with anybody is that James actually technically wrote probably a good 90-95% of the lyrics on that first, whatever you want to call it, CD.
He does an awful lot of songwriting, that guy. He's got a catalog of stuff that we literally pick through and go, that one sounds really cool. Can we like expand on that one?
Yeah.
Mhm.
We'll just sit there. Like, James will actually bring in just song after
Yeah.
song that he sat at home recording, because James, like me, likes to record shit. It's just James writes better music than I do, so we use his music.
You
But
guys
he'll
just
come
have
in.
Does he have a next button? Do you guys just listen to one of his ideas and you're like, nope, next? No,
Not
next.
even like
No,
usually it's like we
usually-
start listening to the song, we're like, dude, this is fucking sweet, and then one of us will
Yeah.
hear something in their head that like, I want to do this to that part. Can we do
Yeah.
that? Then
Yeah,
it'll
yeah.
basically turn into
It just snowballs.
yeah, like James will bring in the song and I'll just mute one of the guitar tracks completely and be like, all right, what about this? What about that? Then Brian will come in and be like, oh, what about this? And it usually works out that we finish all the guitars and bass, And we give it over to Johnny. We're like, Johnny, here's what we got.
Here's the concept.
Here's it for your head. Practice it. See what I do on the drums, and then we'll go back and record it. But it usually comes out that James starts with his song. I make it worse with my guitar. Brian makes it better with the bass, and then Johnny
Bullshit.
does the drums.
Bullshit. You're awesome. Whatever.
I'm calling bullshit on that.
Same.
These guys shred.
Like,
I can't even hold a candle to these dudes.
That's because you don't have to pick.
you and James have like the most amazing musical chemistry I've ever heard. Like, just you know, like
I
it's
mash my
amazing.
fingers up really high on those tiny strings. Middly, middly.
Yeah, but the harmonies, like seriously, you just like pull that out of your ass and there it is. Like it's fucking magic.
That's because you only see the completed thing. Like I said before, there's usually 100+ takes behind every single little section of the song that you hear.
Playing the harmony and you're at like the 400th note of your harmony and you're like, oh, that was a little off. That was a little
like,
off.
man.
I gotta flatten that 5 right now.
Why is my guitar bleeding? Oh, that's me.
Oh, it's me.
It was even with Johnny. Like Johnny had never really done the recording thing the way we do our guitars. So I'm assuming you know what it's like. You kind of like the first note before you even hit a note after you hit record. You're like, yeah, that take's gonna be fucked before it's even started recording. You've already stopped recording and you're just undoing what you just did. But the first time I started doing some recording with Johnny, he's like, oh, I'll just, I'm like, play through the song a couple times, warm up, do whatever. And he records that part. And I'm like, all right, we're going to work on this section right here. And I get that lined up for like the first entirety of the verse. I'm like, all right, just do the first verse. He starts playing the verse. And I stopped the recording. He's like, well, why'd you stop? We were going to do the rest of the song. I'm like, no. We do it part by part. We make sure you get it right. We get the song done. And then you do your final take. And we do a couple takes and mush them together, make sure it sounds right. But it took me a few times. I'm like, no, dude, we're going to do this a lot. Like, this is going to be you doing the same part over and over until you get that feel or the sound that you want or what we think should be in the song. Yeah. He's like, you guys do this for guitar? I'm like, yeah, dude, we do it a lot for the guitar.
Yeah,
like,
riff by
more.
riff.
Like
riff by riff. Over and over again. Riff, stop, nope, delete.
Yeah, it basically turns into you're getting the song down the way you want it to for that one little section. Then afterwards, you better make sure you can fucking play the whole thing all the way through. And that's where the hard part comes.
We'll set this thing on repeat. And you do that riff over and over and over and over and over. And then you go, okay, I think I got that one. Yeah. It's like the first 5 were shit.
And sometimes it doesn't work out. And I think there's like a technical term for that. I think it's called guitarded.
We get guitarded.
Yeah, we get guitarded. Everybody gets a little tarded on their instrument every once in a while. And then you do a few takes and you're like, all of that is crap. I'm going to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hang on. I'm going to take a break. My fingers aren't working anymore.
Yeah.
We just finished up recording our newest single and I'm in there doing the bass playthrough and we do our takes a little bit differently. So we do the exact opposite actually. We do a full bass playthrough and then we'll go through the parts and just clean up anything that needs to be cleaned up.
Oh, okay.
So
that might actually work better.
That's a good idea.
It's a time saver.
It's 5 months, right, guys?
I'm just trying to help out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I'm just kidding.
5 months and we're taking a break so we don't wind up at each other's throats again.
That's fair. So, I make it through this whole song, no problem. We're deciding that the second verse doesn't sound the greatest, and he's like, okay, yeah, just play the second verse. Try to play the riff for the second verse. Like my fingers just
won't do it.
Yeah, I'm like, well, dude, I literally just played this, and I was like, I can't right now.
That's when you're guitarded.
That's right.
So I had to walk away, go have a smoke, come back, and I was like, okay, I'm good now.
Something's literally stopping you from doing it right for some reason. You just gotta go, all right, I'm going for a dart, and I'll try this again in a minute.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, it's like I said, whenever you're sitting there and you hit record, before you even touch anything, you're like, that one's gonna be fucked, and you haven't even touched your instrument. You're like, nope, stop. Start again. There's no point.
You can nail it 10 times in a row. Okay, I got it. Record. What the fuck?
Yeah, my blood pressure just went through the roof. Yeah. I can't play anymore. I'm sorry.
Now I'm on the spot and I can't do it. Why?
We should start doing heart rate monitors while we're recording and make videos of that. Like, so Chris has never attempted this solo, even knows what he's going to play.
Fine. Stress level up.
200 beats per minute. This is going to be real thrashy, or it's going to suck real bad. I wish.
Do you guys have any hobbies outside of music?
Yeah. I got lots.
What do you guys do outside of music?
I write, I paint, I'm really into photography right now, actually for a long time. Although my city, I've photographed pretty much every inch of it, and it's really boring now. So I've run out of things to photograph. I play guitar for the last 15 years, and I still suck because I don't practice enough.
That's music.
Yeah, I mean, reading, I don't know, creative shit.
I've only played bass for 15 years, and I still suck at it. So.
Oh, come on.
No worries.
You guys, music? What else? Well, you know the video games, right?
No, I haven't touched my gaming computer in months now.
Oh shit, that's right. Yeah.
I used to play games. I don't know. I'm here like 90% of my time. I'm here.
This is like his hobby.
Yeah, don't ask me what I do outside of this. Ask this guy. He's got kids. He does way more interesting stuff because the kids keep him on his toes, just like you. How did you get your recording space today? The kid had to let me in.
Yeah. Thank you, son.
I get little girls under. I got 2 little girls under 3 at home. They keep me busy. But I'd say the one hobby, I guess, is building Star Wars Lego with my 2-year-old.
Oh, dude.
Oh, yeah.
He has so much stuff.
I have so many freaking Lego sets now.
Nice.
I hadn't seen it all until I went there a couple months ago, and I'm like,
now.
dude, how many Lego sets do you? He's like, this isn't even half of it.
Yeah.
Kara wants me to get rid of some of them because there's too many.
I've run out of space.
Oh, it's massive.
Yeah. And we're not talking like little stuff. I mean, I got the collector series shit. Like I'm doing the Millennium Falcon that's like this big around right now.
Holy shit.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like the $1,000 sets and the AT-AT that's like this tall. Like the kid is just. She's addicted to Star Wars now. I like turned her into a Star Wars monster.
The dark side,
but she's on the dark side. She loves stormtroopers.
I gotta take it with me back.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. No worries.
I buy my wife a Star Wars set every year for Christmas. We have the small walker, like only about.
Like the regular like $200 one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And then
I've got that one too.
Yeah, we got an X-wing and
nice.
Couple other ones. Yeah.
Big fan.
As much as my wife hates it, she can actually take the blame a little bit because, and I'm sure she's going to see this later, but she actually got me re-addicted to the stuff. Like there was, which I guess I'm partly to blame for that because there was one Christmas / birthday that I didn't cooperate and give the family any ideas of stuff to get, and she's like, "Fine, you're getting fucking Lego." Like, sweet.
I can handle Lego.
It was like, it was just like, it's like you're just getting that first shot of heroin or something. Like, I just got super addicted to it after.
I've been clean for 10 years, babe. Come on, why'd you have to do this to me?
We didn't have awesome Star Wars sets like this when I was a kid. They're all like little spaceships and stuff like that. But oh yeah, she got me a Star Wars Lego set and it was all over.
Enabler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's super fun building it with my kid now.
That's awesome. Yeah. Good building experiences like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, I totally lost my train of thought there.
Oh, we were on hobbies.
Oh yeah, hobbies.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that Star Wars had such a huge resurgence in the last few years with the new movies and then the TV shows coming out. It's
the cartoons.
Yeah.
Clone Wars is huge in our house right now.
Yeah, I'll put it on in the background while I'm making dinner and stuff like that. It's good. It's a good one that it always hits in the house, you know.
Hey, I'm happy to have Clone Wars on over Paw Patrol or whatever the hell else we were watching.
Wiggles.
Oh God.
Wiggles.
Oh, dude.
Worse. It's worse.
It's been Paw Patrol, which is good over top of the Wiggles and Cocoa Melon and shit. But man, after you've watched through the entirety of a series of Paw Patrol 2 or 3 times, it's time for a change.
2 or 300 times.
Yeah.
You need a new cartoon for your kids. There's only one cartoon, and it's Metalocalypse.
Like seriously.
Oh, man,
why can't they watch Metalocalypse? It's just jam coming out of his eye socket.
So, like, okay, me and my wife we're like a little bit different as parents. Like, I'll let my son watch anything pretty well. So like one of his favorite movies is Venom.
Oh
Like,
man.
Nice.
yeah, it's a little bit brutal. As far as like video games go, I'm playing this game called Bloodborne right now.
Okay.
And it is fucking gory, and
Yeah.
he loves the ever living shit out of it. So
Oh man.
yeah.
I struggle to get Clone Wars on the TV because my wife's going, that's a bit violent, and she's trying to
I was
she's trying to
watching-
tell the little girl that the stormtrooper's just sleeping.
Oh, come on, I was watching it. My dad.
We sent him to a farm upstate.
Yeah, I have vivid memories of staying home sick when I was like 10 years old with my dad, and we're watching Akira.
Oh.
That's how I remember that movie when I was like a wee squirt, and I haven't killed that many people yet.
I went on a bus trip. I went on a bus trip in high school, and somebody bought Akira on like ski or something. They were going to put it on the bus in front of the rest of us. The teacher was like, "Is this okay?" He's like, "It's a cartoon. How bad could it be?" And they put it on, and we're all sitting there watching Akira on the bus and going, "Yeah, they're following the first rule of anime in this one." Like,
Did he just pick
blood
his guts up
everywhere,
off the
yeah.
floor and put
Oh,
him
yeah.
back in? Yeah.
it got
yeah,
turned
yeah.
off about halfway through.
Oh, that's not even the good part.
Yeah.
That's enough to scar lots of people, you know.
Oh, yeah, well, what the hell? We were all in high school. We were like grade
Yeah.
12 and shit. We were like, let it go. The teacher's like, this is gory. Turn that off.
But I like the story.
Like, okay, so one of my favorite shows growing up was Dragon Ball Z. It was like probably the first show that I watched with Cash, my son, and man, it is fucking brutal in some of the parts. Like, yeah, the blood that happens and the gore and people getting beat the fuck up and shit. I'm just like, oh no, like, what's this gonna do to him when he gets older? But
Mm.
not much.
You ever come across movies that you watched as a kid? And like you come across them now, but you watch them as a kid and you're like, holy shit, I can't believe my parents let me watch that.
Yeah, this is acceptable on
Like
TV.
every
What?
movie in the 80s where they're smoking through the entire thing.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
an episode of The Simpsons or Family Guy when I was growing up.
Yeah.
My parents let me
exactly.
watch it. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I rewatch the same episodes now, and I'm like, holy shit, how did I miss all of this?
You'd
Isn't
never
there an
get
O
away
in
with
country?
that.
Nope.
Ah, it took a second.
Like,
I got
this
it.
is acceptable. Fuck, watch some Bugs Bunny, man. Holy shit.
Woo.
Yes.
You know,
Like-
at what point in this day and age could you have a guy running around going, Hassan, chop?
Well, you can always watch some old Disney.
Yeah, really.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
Like things you can never get away with.
You can't get
now.
away with anything.
Mm.
The internet has made everything no more fun. You can't have fun anymore.
Yeah.
Stereotypes
Yeah.
aren't funny.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Just cut this part out.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, I miss the 90s.
Yeah.
Someday. When people
Um.
take themselves so freaking
Oh,
serious.
on top of that, you guys know the big pants from when we were in high school are coming back? Like, people in LA are
Oh,
wearing them.
Jenkos?
Oh, yeah, they're wearing them again,
Oh,
man.
God.
The
No.
big
Parachute pants.
Yeah, man, they're
Oh,
coming
dude.
back. The big parachute jeans. I saw a post about it today. I'm like, no way. And sure enough, somebody's like, dude, there's so much of this in LA right now. I'm like, you're all fucked.
Want to hear something good enough? That shit was originally from the 70s.
Yeah, it was. Bell bottoms.
It's
Yeah.
coming back for the second time.
But
They
we
weren't
made
even
it
bell
cool.
bottoms, though.
We drag around half of whatever we're walking around
Yeah.
with us.
That's true. That's true.
It's raining.
God.
Well, guess what? You're soaked up to your knees.
I remember that shit.
I can hear my mom now. Take those off before you come in the door.
Yeah. They're soaked. Next, it'll be the plastic wallet chain going on like almost to the ground and back up
Oh,
again.
yours was plastic?
Well, some of the guy, not mine, but the guys in high school.
Oh, the best way
I
to
was a
pull your leg
grunge
up to
kid.
here and cut the pieces off that were falling
Yeah.
off.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta cut the frayed ends off my pants. It's
I just-
okay. They're not up to my ankles yet.
I was a grunge kid, so I had the baggy Levi's that were all ripped to shit with a plaid shirt tied around my waist.
Oh,
Long
yeah.
Long freaking grunger hair.
Mhm.
So just before we wrap up, something that we ask all the bands is if you guys could change one thing about the music industry, what would you guys change?
God.
The whole
everything?
thing?
The damn whole thing. Yeah.
Everything? It's broken, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
broken.
It used to be that, those bands that poke out are the ones who got to do what they wanted to do for a living and got to make the big money. And now it's got to the point where you see it from every band. Bands are releasing NFTs. Bands are making beer, like big name bands like Megadeth releasing wine and beer. Like, you can't be hurting that much for record sales. I'm like, no, you're just missing the old days where you got paid a fortune. Then you get new bands, any independent band. You go up and look at your profits from anything online. You're just like, why am I even bothering?
Yeah, it's
like that
it's a
song
business.
got played a few hundred times, and I got 0.000000029 cents. And the guy who runs Spotify is saying, I just need to release more music.
I spent more money.
Well, he rakes in billions.
equipment?
Yeah, like it used to be that
it's quantity over quality now. You can't get anywhere with it because the whole industry is all digital and is completely saturated.
Yeah, that's I think the biggest thing, saturation of the market.
Yeah, that's true.
At the same time, it would scale. It would be. I think it would be more detrimental if Spotify paid their artists more, right? Because then think about those people that have those billions of listens and stuff like that. Then they just going to be raking in even more, and then Spotify'd have to cost more and shit like that.
Yeah. From an independent perspective, though, I think
it's a double-edged sword.
Sites like Bandcamp, who actually pay the artists,
Bandcamp has been sweet. Like those guys, we every once in a while, we're like, shit, someone actually bought our record. We're like, holy crap, we actually made like noticeable money.
Yeah,
I can't quit my job, but I have money.
$3, you know what I mean? Like
it's a double-edged
one record.
Yay!
But that's the one thing. Like we don't care about that sort of stuff.
No,
like we spent the money on the gear because we wanted it. I spent money on my amp because I wanted it. Same with Brian James. Em's got her microphone stuff. Johnny's got his drums. We have the recording gear because we wanted to do that. We're not looking to make a fortune out of this, but if Spotify was at least, if we got like 200 or 300 plays a month and we got $50, I'd call that a win. That's not asking too much. If I got $50 a month from like 400 plays a month, I'd be like, cool, man. Like at least I can justify releasing music more often to possibly make it 75 or $100 a month from those 400 plays. It's kind of weird because you're like, I want to do this and I want to get the money of this, but I also know there's no money unless I have something major backing me. And the odds of getting picked up as an independent band, especially a metal band these days, is just
slim to none.
Yeah, it's insane to think about the fact that bands like Megadeth, Metallica, and Anthrax, those guys, like they had to get found by being seen live, whereas now it's like, no, you got to make sure your record's on spot and you're just nailing every time you record something, because that one guy might hear it out of those 4 billion plays that you got paid 1/300th of a cent for.
Yeah.
So it's like, where do I find the balance to actually like, do something that I enjoy and at least like, well, I'm getting $50. That's cool, man. Like, as long as you guys are supporting us, it's one thing to be online and do it and get nothing out of it. But at least when we go to the shows, there are still tons of people who are like, man, we want your CD. We want something physical. Mm-hmm. We want to own something that you guys produce. And I can't thank those people enough because comparatively to Spotify and shit, Spotify helps us get known by a lot bigger audience, but the local stuff when we go to shows is the stuff that at least, hey, we got something back from this. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Have something that we made.
Something and here's the thing. In order to tour, bands have no choice now. In order to make a living at what they do, they have to tour, right? And sell merch, because that's the only place they actually make money.
Merch is
anymore.
Merch is huge.
Merch.
So like,
we sold
in order
a bunch
to
of
tour,
stuff on Friday.
You need money to tour because it takes money to tour.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're living out of a,
backseat of a car.
Yeah, the backseat of a car. Like, you can't even afford a toilet. You know what I mean? Like, so like, it's kind of a double-edged sword because it's almost a catch-22, really, because you have to go out there, you have to tour to make money, right? In order to be able to finance the tour.
And you have to release stuff online to get noticed, and even have these halls and places that'll do the gigs pick you up. You have to be online, and you kind of have to buy into the stuff that we hate the most, which is social media.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And just
nothing
to get out
bad
there,
against people who like social media. It's it's just
it
we
is.
don't like it.
It's a great way to get out there, but the interaction sucks.
Yeah, like I'd rather have a better way to interact with fans than the way social media currently is.
The other half of what I was going to say, though, is also with the whole touring thing is, I don't know where this culture of exposure came from, We are the talent. We are providing the entertainment for your venue this evening. Fucking pay us properly.
Yeah, that's one thing we'll
what
say.
the fuck
we played,
is this exposure
yeah,
shit?
We played at Maxwell's. We got paid for it.
Yes.
The
Good
second
venue.
time, the
Great
first
venue.
time we got paid to play at Maxwell's in Waterloo was the most we have gotten paid by a band, because they actually make sure you get a cut of the door. They give you the breakdown of who got in, how much booze they sold,
Yeah.
and they give it to
Yeah.
you when they pay you.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, the one thing that just pisses me off as an artist, like, I'm not expecting to make a ton of money off of this.
No.
I know how much it costs to maintain my own equipment versus also driving to the show, putting on the show, possibly bringing our entire PA system to the show, because like I mentioned earlier, some venues do not care about their PA.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you told me we're going to pay you $50, I'd be happier than finding out that I get a beer ticket when I'm at your fucking venue to play my show
For real.
for 45
Like, can
minutes.
you at least cover
Yeah.
my gas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if a venue flat out said, we'll pay you
Canada's
$50
huge.
flat rate, no more, no less, we'd be like, you know what? At least they're being upfront and honest. We know what we got to
Yeah,
do for this.
exactly.
It's cool. It's
Mhm.
it's part of the deal. A lot of
Mhm.
people that aren't in bands don't understand that this isn't cheap
Yeah.
anymore. Like, by a long shot, it is not cheap to be in a band and just go out and do these things you do. I do it because I like it. We all do it because we like
Yeah.
it. But
Mhm.
we spent thousands of dollars on gear. We spend probably between the band $100 to $150 just to get to the venue, make sure that we're fed, and then spend 45 minutes on stage. I don't want to, like I
Yeah.
said, be making millions of dollars, but
No, it's fine.
venues got to step up their game. Like Maxwell's in Waterloo has been nothing but great to us. There's been a couple
Awesome.
other venues who are like, no, man, you're getting paid for this. But other venues like,
Mm.
oh, you want to play a show? We're like, yeah, how much are we getting paid? Well, you get a beer ticket per band member. Like, okay, so I got to drive an hour for a beer?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta
Gee,
pay
thanks for
like
paying me
yeah.
$3.
Like,
I gotta
cool.
pay $60 for that beer and gas. Thanks.
I think the remaining bars have to step it up now, because
Yeah.
things have changed in the last couple of years, and it's
Mhm.
very unfortunate the way it went down for a lot of these bars, because they were profitable and they were the guys who would pay the bands something decent.
Mhm.
And I'm going to assume that some of the bad ones were the ones who were caught up in the stuff that closed, thankfully, because we've all played crappy clubs before.
Of course.
But going forward, like, I don't know what role social media has in it, just because of everything that's been going on with social media in the last few years and everything that's been coming out about Facebook and Instagram. And obviously we all know it's detrimental to our mental health. It's pretty rampant right now as far as I can tell. But in terms of social media and just being a band and playing the shows, I wish I could predict it, man, because I might be able to make more than $50 a month. That's what it comes down to. I don't want to be greedy about this, and I'm not going to be greedy about this. I just wish there was a better way for bands and fans to find out about each other.
Yeah.
Like, even if it was just going back, like I said before, email lists. If it was just, you want me to shoot you an email when I have a show, cool. I don't. At this point, I'd rather not find out that somebody says, "Oh, I'm going to the show" on some website, but I never see him at the show. I'd rather just send out the information, say, "Hey, man, here it is if you want it, no big deal," and not have to worry about views or likes or any of that crap.
Yeah.
Just
Pay us X number of dollars to boost your Facebook post.
yeah, that's another thing. Like, a lot of bands go through is like, "Oh, you want us to boost your Facebook post?" Like, no.
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 So what? You can reach people that have no interest whatsoever
Yeah.
in metal.
You reached 10,000 people. It's like, yeah, that
I know
are
that's what
thousands
we're
of
so
miles
far.
away.
I'm guilty of it too. Like, if I see something that pops up on my news feed that says sponsored on it, it makes me mad.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
want to look at it because that's
Yeah.
a lot of what's coming up. Like
Yeah.
when
Irrelevant hide.
like I hate sounding this old, but when Facebook first came out, you weren't even allowed to sign up for it, and then suddenly the signups came out, and all my friends signed up for it. I signed up for it too, because I'm like, yeah, I can keep
Yeah.
in contact with people that I moved away from because I had just moved to Toronto at the time,
Yeah.
and it was great. Like, it was really awesome at the time in the first 5 years, but then you slowly see the decay and the bullshit come into it.
Yeah.
We paid for the sponsored ad stuffs before. We saw no return from it
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Not at all.
And it may have only been $5 or $10, but $5 or $10 out of an independent band, it's
It's a lot.
That's a bite.
like we have
Yeah.
a band fund versus what we make as people because we're
Yeah.
not retards.
Yeah.
Sorry, I shouldn't say that. I'm actually going to retract that. We're not dumbasses. But like it's hard to find that balance between like, how do you want me to put money on the internet to try and get people to come to our shows? Like, are people even looking at this anymore? Are there the
There's no point.
statistics I'm seeing lying to me about who's looking at this?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no point
What
to
I-
it. It doesn't.
what I-
It doesn't get you anything.
What I find about Facebook is that it like so often pulls me out of character. And
Yeah.
there's been multiple times where I'm reading through a string of comments and I'm like, holy fuck, and I'm getting more mad and more mad. And then I write this
Yeah.
Just
I write
back
this
out.
big huge paragraph or whatever, and then I just delete it all, and I'm like, fuck. If Facebook's making me this mad, then I'll just get off of it. Like I don't have time
Yes, the
for
Yeah.
rage scroll.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Like it brings out the absolute worst in people because they
Yeah.
think they can get away with anonymity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
So
not even that.
they're
It's
just complete jerks to everybody.
the stuff
Yeah.
you see on Facebook, even for bands, is the best stuff. Nobody's gonna put a picture of them puking in a toilet on Facebook unless they're
Yeah.
me and somebody else took the picture. But like, as a band, you can't go on there. And every band's had shows where you're like, yeah, this is gonna be great, and like 2 people show up. You're like, well, whatever, I'll play for those 2 people. But no band's gonna go online and be like, oh, fuck all you assholes who didn't show up to the show. Go fuck your hats. Like,
Yeah.
that's just committing suicide as a band. And
It is.
even the 2 people who show up, like, you know what? Thank you for showing up. Like,
Yeah.
at least
Pretty
I have
much.
somebody to play
Yeah.
to. Right
You two
now.
are going to get a really personal experience tonight.
I have a wireless system.
The whole
You're gonna
band's
be right
going to
up
hug
there.
you.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think there's got to be something that musicians have to come together and do. It's going to be nearly impossible to figure it out what has to
Yeah.
be done for music. But Facebook and Instagram is not the way forward, I don't think.
And also promoters out there, I'm sorry, but exposure doesn't pay for my gas.
No.
So
No, like gas
Yeah.
is almost $2 a liter right now. So
Get
if
with
you want
the
to come
program.
play your show,
Don't
We
book
have to get
10
paid.
bands. For fuck's sakes.
oh god. Oh,
Don't
God.
book 10 bands to a bar.
yeah, start the
For
show
Christ's
at
sakes.
7:00. Don't run it too late. Pay the bands at least $50 a piece. And if you can't afford that, well, then your bar shouldn't exist, and you probably shouldn't be a promoter.
Probably
Yeah. Adding more bands to the gig does not help the gig.
Yeah.
does not.
And if
All
you-
it does is hurt the artists that are taking a cut, which gets divided more and more. So book 3.
We're
maybe
getting really
4.
complainy about this.
Oh, yeah.
I know. We
I don't
want
want to I don't
should
want to
stop.
complain about this stuff. It's
No.
just you're asking a question like, no, man. Like as a band, I'm like, I
People-
don't care about the money, but I need the money there to at least play the show for you guys. And I love that people show up for it. Like it's
Yeah.
still great seeing the people that I see constantly that like our band come out to shows. I'm like, dude, I've seen you a million times at every show.
And
Yeah.
thank
You're the
you
best.
so
Like,
much.
thank you for coming
Like,
out. Thank you for supporting us. Even if you don't buy merch, just the fact that we get to see the same faces or that you're bringing your friends to the show is just
Yeah.
awesome.
I mean, really, that's what it comes down to, right? It's
Yeah.
a passion thing. Like we do it because we love the music. It's not about the money at all. But like, I mean, you know, we do it because we love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
But
people.
that's on the side.
There's a shitty side to being in a band.
Yeah.
It's the way it is with anything.
Yeah, and
I
I'm not just God that makes this piece of wood talk all the time. I'm a fucking
Yeah.
person who needs to pay bills and eat meals. And
Yeah.
shit like
Exactly.
that.
You motherfuckers ever played a chromatic scale for 4 hours straight?
And
No. No.
honestly, like if we had a huge income from the band, like everything would get better for us. We'd be able to afford to go to these gigs and
Yeah.
play or pay for gas, which is stupid. You know that because you're in BC.
Oh yeah, you guys have it worse
Holy
than us,
shit.
man. Like, geez,
Yeah.
Louise.
I'm glad it didn't hit $2 down here, but fuck, it got close.
It was a
Yeah.
buck
Yeah, we're-
89 the one day Johnny and I
Oh,
went out.
buck
Yeah,
92 the other day.
we're like 197.
Oh
You're
my
back
God.
down to
Oh my
197.
God.
Yeah.
Wow.
We never hit $2. Not in Kelowna. It was
Oh,
close.
really?
God.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
but even then, man, like
I
for
think
a
that must have
band,
been
a
Vancouver.
4-person band, even like, let's not talk about anything else. A 3-person punk band
Mhm.
to get to a show out of town. Well, you need 3 cars. It's the nature of the beast. So you're going 20 kilometers out of town. Well, there's $30 just in gas for those 3 cars. Like
Mhm.
it's not getting any more affordable for us, and I still love doing it. But there's a point where I'm like, do we
not-
play the show or not? Like, we can't even
Yeah.
throw $10 to each other for the gas at this point. We're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
spending money.
Yeah.
I love doing it, but in the end, it is spending money for the
Yeah.
band.
Because, like, dude, I'd love to come out to Kelowna and do a show for you guys. That'd be so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know, fucking West Coast tour. Are you kidding? That'd be amazing. We can't afford it.
Yeah,
Too
you know,
far.
Yeah.
It's too
Honest-
far.
honestly, my lead singer, he's totally amazing. Rob O'Day, I love you. He is applying for so many grants for us right now that are gonna help
Oh,
us
yeah.
fund our tours.
Even that though, like most metal bands don't get those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
we'll,
sucks to say it, but
Yeah.
We'll see. Hopefully we do. He's magical when it comes to this kind of stuff. He'll make.
If you guys get it, you let us know because there's Canadian-wide grants that we want to get in on.
Hell yeah.
We'll be coming to your guys' neck of the woods to play.
See,
We'll go
yeah,
see it.
man. Like,
Storm
even
the
if-
Empire and Northshroud. Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, let's do it. Yes.
If we had like a media platform for bands where we could interact, like, dude, I applied for this grant. Like, Facebook is great and everything, but if it was just something that I specifically had to log into just for the band, then it would just be like, no, bands can contact bands or fans can find out what bands are doing. We need something better for bands, and we need more access to what a lot of other artists seems to get as metal musicians. We're just sitting there like, so my amp costs $3,000 more than what you're running. And I have a lot more stuff I got to do on stage, and I play a lot more difficult music, but I don't need that $1,000 to hopefully, maybe, possibly make a music video.
Right?
I could
They're not
use that
free.
$1,000 for a music video. I know a lot of people who work for very cheap because I'm in a metal band.
Yeah, fucking, I'll ride my bike out to fucking Toronto if I have to.
You fucking rock, dude.
Strap the 4x10 on my back, the 115 on the
off you
rear
go.
wheel.
Yeah, just
Hell
pocketing
yeah.
$4,000 of grant money. I'll ride my bike. I don't care.
It looks even funnier you doing that because all I see is your head on a black background. Like, I can just imagine you riding straight through the night from BC.
Well, shit. Like, you guys are coming in our neck of the woods? Fucking let us know, dude.
I
Let's
know.
do this.
Okay,
A band
so
site, we could be like,
originally-
you can crash at my place and play a show here.
Yeah.
And I'll
Fuck
crash at
yeah.
your place.
Originally, we were gonna set up the tour for October to head out Montreal, Ontario, and stuff like that. But we're gonna scale it back. I think we're gonna just try to hit up Alberta this year, but
Yeah.
then spring of next year, maybe summer of next year, or even fall of next year, we'll head out that way. We need to make it out to the East Coast because the fucking music scene's atrocious over here.
Let's just say I think there is a reason there was a lot of people at the show that we played on Friday. I don't want to say it was because of any bands, because I guarantee it wasn't. It was just because people want to see something live.
Yeah.
Whoa,
I think so.
Jesus.
Whew, that tasted like the leek.
How did it come through the camera?
We had fried leek and sausage breakfast sandwiches.
Oh,
today, and
dude,
that just tasted
nice.
like leeks.
Yo.
But no, I think that, like, with all this stuff coming to an end now, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not going to comment personally on what's going on with the mandates and shit, but I'm glad to see that people want to get back into seeing
Yeah.
live music. Like the Friday show that we played,
Oh, it's
none of
unbelievable.
us knew what to expect. It's very up in the air these days, whereas before it could be like,
Mhm.
well, you know, there would probably be like
Yeah.
15, 20 people here, and then once in a while you get shocked and the place is just packed. But yesterday I'm like, there's probably going to be a few people there. But when we got there, I'm like, this is a lot more than I thought. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
people just want to see some live
Yeah.
tunes, and that was stellar. Like, the first real show we played, I'm not going to say it a real bar because we played a show not that long ago, but
Yeah.
the show
That
we
was a
played
bar.
was just a good sized bar. They take care of their bands, and just seeing
Yeah.
that many people come out to a show is just awesome. Like,
Mhm.
it's
Oh my
great
God.
seeing that, and I hope
There's-
that it continues with
All
things progressing past COVID, hopefully.
Yeah.
all the people that we saw out on the gigs before COVID hit, they were all out on Friday. You could
Yeah.
tell it's like they're
Nice.
just sick of not going to shows.
Yeah.
And they
Good.
wanted to go to a show, and they got out there, and it's good to see it coming back.
Oh, God.
I'm hoping in relation to that, the venues will start actually being like,
Yeah.
well, okay, we'll give you guys some money because then we can do things
Yeah.
like tour in BC, come to
Fuck yeah.
Ontario. And you know some bands there. Well, you can crash at our place because we
Oh,
know what
yeah.
it's like trying to
Make-
afford a tour.
Yeah, make playing a local gig somewhat profitable for us, so we can actually do that stuff.
Yeah.
Hell
Fuck
yeah.
We're not
Mhm.
spending anything on recording anymore because we have the gear, but you got to make it worth their while to come out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
All
I,
right.
I hope that goes forward. But anyways, I think
Anyway.
we're done, aren't we? We kind of
Rant
derail
over.
interviews all the time. It's our
Yeah,
thing. We just
no.
start
We'll
talking
derail
about
it.
random crap.
Is there anything you guys want to say to your fans just before we wrap it up?
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
We fucking love you. You are the reason we fucking do this.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
thank you so much for your support over all the
Yeah.
years. And we hope to see you at more shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Keep
coming.
supporting your local bands, even if
Yes.
they suck. They
Buy
still do
merch.
it, and it costs some money.
That's right.
Buy merch at your local
Thank you
shows.
for buying merch.
Do interviews if you're a band with guys like Norm,
Yes.
because he keeps us relevant, at least, hopefully, maybe, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
But like, thank you to everybody who watches this stuff, the guys who do this stuff for us. It's a big circular family of people that just keep doing artistic things to help each other out, and hopefully, maybe make enough to at least make your car payments every once in a while.
Pay for a tank of gas here and there so you can go to a show.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, and awesome. Thanks for doing the interview, man. Like, you keep bands like us at least having fun when we're not doing shows.
Yes.
Thanks for coming on, you guys. I wouldn't have a show without you
Anytime.
guys. So yeah, no,
It's
it was
been
amazing.
an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Good questions. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, that's I'm Norm with Enigma Media. I was with Northshroud today. Cheers. Peace.